Isn't it kind of apropos for Michael Moore to be comparing something to apple pie? Like, honestly, if the guy gets any fatter, you're gonna have to film his funeral in IMAX. There was a meme running around yesterday. Tasteless, yes. Joke, probably. Kind of funny, maybe in about a week or so. The life of, whatever, Alyssa, girl's name, shows that people can come from all over the world and truly assimilate into our beloved American culture. That's the Boulder, Colorado shooter, of course. And yeah, you could obviously see that a good chance that it's a joke, right? But then, no, he couldn't keep his fat hand out of his fat mouth, but at least he got back all of his fat little fingers. Michael Moore called a suspected Colorado shooter girl's name as American as apple pie. I guess you talk about what's on your mind the most. Moving swiftly along, or even just at a 3-mile-an-hour pace, and that would leave that fat sack of shit in the dust. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris both called for government-mandated AR-15 buybacks. Who's shocked by this? I don't think anybody's going to be raising their hand for this one. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris both called for government-mandated buybacks of AR-15s and other commonly owned semi-automatic rifles while on the campaign trail. Does anybody know what the AR stands for? It's not assault rifle, by the way. It's Armalite. It is an abbreviation for the gun brand itself. So just the next time that Biden stumbles up to the podium or one of the other Cro-Magnon senators hop up there and try to tell you about how much they know about those 50 caliber AR-15s or whatever other ethereal assault weapons that they want to ban. Yeah, if they refer to the AR-15 as an assault rifle -15, you know you're dealing with a very low IQ individual. Breitbart News noted that Biden staked his position on mandatory buybacks during his first Democratic debate of the election 2020 campaign cycle. Should have wrote that a little bit more confusingly. That would be great. He said, "Folks, look, here's the deal. Come on, man." And every other Biden catchphrase. And I would buy back assault weapons. We already started talking about that. We tried to get it done. I think it can be done. I think my dinner's done. Where's my oatmeal? Oh, I'm sorry. It should be demanded that we do it. That's a good expenditure of money. What does he know about good expenditures of money? He knows how to spend money. I just don't know if he knows what the appropriate avenues for those are, but as we can see, and he's also ramping up for a $3 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollar bill for, I don't know, infrastructure, some other shit that's fucking ill-conceived, or at least as best as he can. I guess he hasn't delegated that responsibility out to Kamala yet. And Kamala, yeah, echoed same sentiments in September of 2019 as well. And you remember the supposed gun czar, Beto O'Rourke, the man with the, I don't know, Yoplait mouthwash sponsorship. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s. Hell yes, we're coming for your AK-47s. You fucking retard. That guy is the poster child for never marrying your cousin. Now, why does all of this matter? Well, it's because the most radical court in the land had a terrible ruling. Who could have saw that coming? Yes, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that presides over the western portion, the western seaboard, Arizona, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Alaska, Hawaii. Oh, we'll just name the other three. Fuck it. We're on a roll, I suppose. Washington, Oregon, and California. That's the appeals court before everything kicks up to the United States Supreme Court. And before we go into this ruling here, we're also going to throw in the caveat that you better believe that this is going to get appealed up to the United States Supreme Court. So don't quite get your panties in a bunch, but because all the tastemakers for the Democrats, and yes, if anybody's asking for an opinion on what tastes good, that's why you head over to Michael Moore. And then, of course, the president and her closest advisor are also calling for mandatory buybacks. And this is just the first step along that path over the next 2 years while they still have the opportunity to make such outrageous rulings. But in order to do this federally, it would require moving hell and earth. U.S. Appeals Court rules states may restrict people from owning openly carrying guns in public. Arizona, Alaska, Montana, and Idaho. They are not going to like this whatsoever. They're going to be some of those states that are going to be walking it back. And also the other not Portland and not Seattle parts and the northern part of California, they're probably not all fucking thrilled about this. An appeals court on Wednesday ruled that states may restrict people from openly carrying firearms in public, upholding a Hawaii gun regulation that bans residents from openly carrying guns without a license. I hate it. I hate all of it. What other constitutionally enshrined rights do you have so many disclaimers on? Freedom of speech? Oh, my hate speech. Not enshrined. Doesn't matter. You can say it. You can scream the N-word from the top of your house, even though you live in a place like Boulder, Colorado, which is 90% white. It don't matter. Government can't do fuck all about it. How about the Fourth Amendment? Search and seizure. Government, police officers, they require warrants, search warrants to go through your stuff. Fifth Amendment, you have a right not to self-incriminate. You can plead the fifth whenever you're asked questions about your own freedoms. The list goes on and on, all the way down to the 19th Amendment, which I don't think there's any defense for. If you know, you know. But again, the Second Amendment, it's the second one for a reason, because without the first, everything descends into the second. And in order to defend the second, you need the first. And why are there so many rules for the Second Amendment? The right to bear arms and the fact that it shall not be incapacitated, infringed, right? That's what it is. Why does that little clause, why does that little sentence get so consistently trampled over? Mostly because some thick-skulled individuals realize that they cannot enact their utopia with a well-armed population. If they could only just make like Stalin, Mao, Hitler, take away the guns. That's the only thing standing between them and their perfect socialist utopia. Fascist utopia, same thing. National Socialist Party, by the way. But let's get into this ruling, okay? The U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 7-4 that restrictions on carrying guns in public except, there's no experts on this, for hunting do not violate the Second Amendment's right to bear arms. How so? Shall not be infringed. Anyways, the government may regulate and even prohibit in public places, including government buildings, churches, schools, and markets, the open carrying of small arms capable of being concealed, whether they are carried concealed or openly. Judge J. Bybee, appointed by former President W. Everybody should be sending thank you letters to Rolled Gold, or just maybe little letters of encouragement to make a sturdier product. Wrote the opinion for the court's majority. He led these 6 other fucking Neanderthals. What's your opinion on clubs? A review of more than 700 years of English and American legal history. Oh, how well did you do that? What fucking diversity hire do you have for a clerk? Reveals a strong theme. Government has the power to regulate arms in the public square. Sorry, what? All you needed to do is look into your own American history. I'd say probably around 1776 would be a nice place to start. How was the country founded, by the way? Strong words and following laws set out by government, right? That's how we got here. The judge drooled on his paper by saying, there is no right to carry arms openly in public. You realize that you are a judge on a court of appeals for the United States, where you're supposed to uphold the Constitution. In the fucking Wild West. God, you're stupid. Bybee added, it remains as true today as it was centuries ago. We're completely and utterly retarded. Oh, that the mere presence of such weapons presents a terror to the public. No, not everybody was clutching their pearls so vehemently 700 years ago. Fucking moron. Go home and pump your musket. And that widespread carrying of handguns would strongly suggest that state and local governments have lost control of our public areas. Well, I wouldn't look too hard in Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, San Francisco. No, don't do any of that, because those are bastions of governments doing a great job. Now, I want to do this judge proper, because he has a very complex name, but he is also completely right when he says that this is unprecedented, as it is extreme. Judge Diarmuid F. O'Scanlane. I know I got the last part right. Just not quite in touch with my Irish roots as much as I should be. At its core, the Second Amendment protects the ordinary law-abiding citizen's right to carry a handgun openly for purposes of self-defense outside the home, despite an An exhaustive historical account, the majority has unearthed nothing to disturb this conclusion, wrote O'Scallane. Correct. I couldn't imagine them finding any justification other than the king felt threatened, therefore we need to conceal our weapons. Another judge who dissented, Ryan D. Nelson, thank you for having a simple name, criticized Hawaii's county laws, writing that it restricts gun ownership only to security guards, violates the Second Amendment. In 2016, the Ninth Circuit Court decided that Americans don't have the constitutional right to carry concealed guns in public. See, they've sucked dick for a very long time, even though Trump had the opportunity, and he did put a couple of judges on this court, and it was supposedly a little bit more tame, but it once again retains its history as being the most radical appeals court in the land, even though the Southern District of New York has kind of taken that up a little bit. But the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals cannot rest because it needs to maintain the fact that it is in charge of the wildest motherfucking counties in all of the land. And they need to make sure that you know that your rights, they aren't free. But this is just kind of an imposition for people for the time being, because you'd have to believe that this is going to get ruled up to the United States Supreme Court. And for as many limp-wristed bedwetters like John Roberts there's also Clarence Thomas. Kavanaugh might be a bitch on several different levels. Same with Gorsuch, but they're pretty based when it comes to things that don't require ruling on certain election matters. I would love to see their justification of the 700 years of English and American history, but who fucking knows? Bad decision. Bad decision. So we shall wait what the United States Supreme Court has to say on this one, because if I'm going to take any advice from Michael Moore or from President Harris and her elderly gentleman friend, I don't really much care what they have to say, because they just have bad take after bad take when it comes to firearms. So yeah, there are some good judges out there. Unfortunately, this is a setback when it comes to the Second Amendment for the time being. I just don't anticipate it to be sticking around very long. And with that said, guys, do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. And I thank you very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.